Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry Ramage, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this fine
It's Monday and
Monday, right?
It's super rainy and it feels, I don't know, like when it gets windy up here, like I'm in this little valley, so it's like this ginormous tunnel.
Wind
tunnel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like, and especially having the metal roof, and I've got these trees that
I can't even imagine.
I need to cut down now while there's, they're bare. So
Right.
Probably cut those because boy, when that wind, it's like hitting the top, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like is this thing gonna fall apart?
I can't even imagine. We had a lot of wind and craziness over the weekend. It was cold. Today it's going to be in the 80s, so we're back to normal, thankfully. And
I did get up to like 62 yesterday.
Nice.
So I even thought, oh, should I take the top off the Jeep? No, I still have the heater on.
I got a call from my best friend from high school's brother, who lives in Colorado now, who's like, he's like my cousin, or he's like my older brother or whatever, but he was calling to ask me some real estate advice. And it was funny because he was telling me what the weather was like, and I was like, oh, he's like, I'm sure it's great there. And I was like, oh, it's like 62. That was yesterday. And he's like, yesterday when I went outside with the wind chill, it was -12. And I was like, oh my God, that is not interesting to me whatsoever.
No, I mean, even getting into single digits, well, I mean, that hasn't happened here. No. No, not at all. But I mean, usually it's like the lows are in the 30s, but yeah,
that's still yucky in my opinion.
I'm over it at this point. It's great when it's like December. It's very festive. January is not bad. It's just February. All it does is rain. So we have like that red, muddy clay, whatever. So it just is gross. And the dogs, like I want to have them outside to play, and then they're disgusting. And it's like, we don't have the shower that we used to in Florida. and it was the double header thing. It was like ginormous. So it was no big deal. It was super easy giving the dogs a bath. They just, have the kids, take them in the shower, use that thing. But we don't have like a shower, like it's super tight to try to get an English Mastiff or a Great Dane in our little
shower that you have. Yeah.
Well, because it has like 2 seats or something like that. So like it's on our list to redo, but everything's that plastic stuff. Like I've always had just
plastic insert. It's the plastic insert with the 2 seats that are barely a seat. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I hate it, but that's like almost every house we looked at was like that. I'm not worried about the kids. Like I'll worry about that bathroom when they move out.
Right.
They just destroy everything anyway. But no, it definitely showers like on my list, but we ended up paving, which has been nice because usually February is like when your cars are just muddy because you have the gravel and the mud and all that uckiness. But now we have like a full paved, looks like a huge basketball court now, the blacktop. But
right.
But it's
which is nice, probably getting in and out of the driveway and all that stuff.
Oh, even trying to move the camper because we got that overhang.
Right.
And Leah's just trying to move the camper, but the ground is so wet. So I'm super mad whether the kids were at work or they were sleeping. I really wanted a picture because thank goodness I had the Jeep. So I had to pull Leo with his ginormous lifted F-150 that was pulling our camper. He got stuck in our backyard. So my little Jeep had to help put that in 4-wheel drive to get him. So the little Jeep is pulling this big old F-150 plus the big old camper to be able to try to maneuver around the backyard. Like that was, I'm like, darn it, where was that picture? I've had to do that twice. So I'm like, well, I guess we're not going to try to do anything until March when everything kind of dries and
dries up
it's
a
just,
little bit, warms up,
yeah,
dries
because it just makes an even bigger mess in the backyard. And then the dogs run around and play and they're just, ugh.
So today we are talking about creating more sales in your targeted areas and how you're going to choose those areas. And I'm using the word areas because although we see agents have success in just one area, when you're in a market like we're in right now, and as we were talking about before we started, 1.2 months of inventory in Brevard County.
I mean, has it ever been? I mean, I know in like was like 06 until like
I
08.
think
Like
we
that
were
was
still at
crazy.
I think we were still at like the 2.4 or 5 months at that time.
And that
This
was crazy.
Yeah, and that was crazy. I mean, it is just multiple offers on listings, which is very difficult as both a buyer's agent and a listing agent. I mean, as a listing agent, how do you guide your seller to pick the right offer? But I'm getting off topic. So, if you have only targeted one area and you're in a market with 1.2 months, the amount of listings out there is very small. So you should probably have a larger target area. But here's the thing. This is what you're going to do. You're going to choose the area that you want. You're going to choose it because you love it. So for me, that's the area in which I live, which is Suntree. I mean, I love it in Suntree. The office that I work out of primarily is in Suntree. My kids went to school in Suntree. That's where they played sports or were involved in clubs. So I'm committed to this area, which is always a big thing. When you're involved in either the PTA, or they call it the PTO now, I guess it's an organization, not an association, or you're involved in sports or my son did robotics or whatever you're involved in, if that should be one of your target areas, because those are the people that you're coming in contact with on a daily basis. And as you build your reputation over time, you want to become the name and the face of that area, but don't limit yourself to just one, I guess.
No, I'm always at minimum 3. Make sure they're kind of big, maybe different price ranges, but just like you said, like you have to have not really like skin in the game, but to be comfortable with those areas, whether it's where you grew up or all the places to go, or it's where your kids are doing sports, so you're already in that community all the time. You can,
right.
I mean, I think if you limit one area, I mean, it's hard. And then also making sure to do the research to see what the inventory is like. Who's, is there somebody that's been doing it for 20 years and they've got that solid, and you can see by the listings and sales, like they've got that market honed in, like maybe that's not the best place to be. And I would think Suntrees, that's hard because everybody wants Suntree. So I really liked the Palm Bay because nobody really, and I would pick like different areas of Palm Bay that nobody really cared about, that were meaningful to me because it would be where I grew up, or it's something I'm comfortable with, or I don't know. So I just pick areas that
it's funny you say that, because I am selling a house to a gal that I went to high school with. And the first time we met at one of the houses she wanted to look at, it's in West Melbourne. And she's like, I'm so sorry to make you come, and I quote, all the way down here. And I said, Bina, it's 15 minutes away from Suntree, first of all. I said, but like Palm Bay, West Melbourne is one of my areas that I do a lot of business with. And for exactly what you just said, that's where I grew up. That's where all the people, or a lot of the people I went to high school and middle school are. Their parents are getting ready to sell, and I have a couple of investors in Palm Bay, and it just makes sense. I mean, I know the area like the back of my hand, really. It's.
I know. I was telling the agents, like, okay, if you're ever showing in Palm Bay and you get lost, just call me. Like, I deliver pizzas for both, both dominoes down there. I'm good. Or I think I'm good. You would think.
So
It's the only place I've ever lived because get the, the biggest bang for your buck.
Yep. So pick areas that are meaningful to you, that you love, and that you're committed to building your reputation over time in that area, because it is a commitment. When you pick a targeted area, you can't just send out one postcard or do one ad. People need to see your name, your face, your logo, your company, whatever it is, over and over and over again, so that when it's their time to buy or sell, and they think about it, they go, oh, I should call Kerry, or I should call Heather, or I should call Barbara Lynn, or whoever it is, So choose that area, and you might have to start small when it comes to budget wise, but that's here we go. Have a budget, allocate enough marketing budget to be in touch with your area at least once a month. So however you need to do that, whether it's through postcards, whether it's through print advertising. I mean, print advertising is still a thing. There's local magazines, local informational magazines that might work to help get your name out there. But make sure you have a budget. And as your business grows, your budget can grow. So
like a certain percentage of, whatever goes into marketing, and you know what you need to do. But I think there's so many different ways that, whether it be print, online, because you can target specific areas. Consistency, I think, is a huge part of that. So where it says like the monthly, or even events, community events that are going on in those areas, or, make sure if you're out showing properties and you have time, like if there's, garage sale day, go over there. I think there's so many missed opportunities for free things to do. If there's, a yard sales going on in that neighborhood, go there and talk to the owners and just, yes, I'm looking for things to help stage my listings. That's opening up a whole real estate conversation. Oh, you sell real estate. And, just open that up.
Exactly.
So many little things that you could be doing to have those real estate conversations. And if you're mailing them and being consistent, or online advertising, I mean, even if you do AdWorks, which isn't, to me, that's like brand recognition, but you choose a zip code. If you're constantly, running ads for that zip code, anytime someone's online, they're seeing your ad. If you change it up, but it's all about that face. It's brand. It's just brand awareness constantly. I don't expect leads, but I want people to see, like, I see you everywhere. Even if you're sending a postcard, they may throw it. I usually, before I even get to my house, I'm passing the trash can, but even if they throw that postcard away, oh, Kerry's still in real estate.
Yep.
But it's that one time when they have their friend, or, that's where, it's crazy how long people even keep these postcards. I've had people like 6 months later, like, pull it out of their kitchen drawer. And I know you've had stories where people get those things. It's crazy. It's consistency, repetitive. And there's so many programs out there that can really, they come up with the content, and you have the same kind of branding, and you basically set it up. Here's my budget. Here's the list that they're going to, or the neighborhoods. There's an easy way to do that print wise. I was just talking with an agent about the different newspapers that, like, I know like Palm Bay would always I don't know how often. I just know whenever it was trash day, I'm having to pick up all this remnants of us. Right. So I never even really looked at those, and they were probably soaking wet by the time I would get them anyway. But I think like publications and magazines, if it's something that you actually read, I know when my kids were younger, the daycare had, I can't even remember the name of it, but it would always have a ton of events for like the kids.
Oh,
you know what? I don't know if you remember a Space Coast Kids or something like that.
Yeah, no, I know it. I remember too. I don't remember what it was called either. And you'd pick it up from the daycare, and you'd be like, "What's going on this weekend?"
Right. And so I think if you have younger kids and that resonates with you, that might make sense. But if you have doggy daycare, I don't know, you have senior living, you have all these magazines at these different places. If those publications make sense to you, yes, it may be worth investing. It just, if you don't ever read it or pick it up and you don't know anything about it, maybe that's not the right one to do. But
right. Well, and here's another good one. Wear your name badge wherever you go. Wear your name badge wherever you go. Because it will start a conversation in the grocery store, at a restaurant, uh, where else? I mean,
It opens up conversations.
yep.
It's crazy. And I know we've gone to restaurants and, do work things, and I mean, I can think of one agent who, no matter where we went, would always have a conversation about real estate. Even if she heard something 2 tables down, she somehow ended up talking to them.
Right, right. And I'll be honest, sometimes for me, I'm like, "Oh, I just want to go have some dinner and I don't want to talk
Right.
about the real estate market." There's an agent, he's the number one agent with Remax. He's out of California. His name is eluding me at the moment, but I've seen him speak a couple times at the luxury events, and he's like, I can't remember if it's that he grocery shops not in his neighborhood, or he doesn't market his neighborhood, but I think it's that he grocery shops like 10 miles away because he doesn't want to get stopped and chit chat about real estate sometimes when he's at the grocery store.
Because sometimes we just kind of want to
Sometimes you need to
unwind.
decompress, but yeah, have your name badge on all the time. Another good one is doing open houses where your signs are out on the side of the road and you get name recognition. I like to do this thing. If I see an agent of ours doing an open house and I see the signs, I'll stop and I'll take pictures of the signs and then I'll post it on Facebook or I'll send it to them. But I also post it on Facebook. I mean, sometimes when I'm down in Palm Bay, I'll see Dario will have a big sign, or Gigi has a big sign, or Candace has a big sign, and I'll take a picture and then I'll post. Love seeing all of our signs around Palm Bay because it's that the more people see your name over and over again, they may not call you the first time. I mean, it's just how marketing and advertising works. It is that repetitive. They hear it so that when it's time,
You want to be top of mind when
Yep.
they are ready. And in this crazy market, I mean, doing everything you can to stay top of mind is crucial. And there's so many different ways that you can do it with not a ridiculous budget.
Correct. Yeah, there are a lot of organic ways. I mean, and like you said, you could do target advertising on social media where you pick, whatever, 32905. That's the zip code I grew up in. Do you target that zip code, or do you target, people in Palm Bay that like real estate, or whatever it is, you can do that. I mean, you've shown many of our agents how to do that fairly inexpensively. So set your budget, know that your budget's going to grow as your business grows and you want to expand into other areas. And here's another one, and you mentioned it while we were talking about different ideas. Reach out in person. Connect regularly with people in your community. So if that means doing some sort of an event where they have, you can buy a table and set up and give giveaways, then do that. I have an agent friend who she does a lot of the bridal shows, and she sets up a table at a bridal show because they're going to start thinking about buying houses. Or the bride and the groom, or the bride and the bride, or the groom and the groom, whoever it is, may each have their own house, and now they have to sell a house and then buy a house. So bridal show within your community is a great idea.
And making sure to partner up with a lender to maybe even share a table, because a lot of parents are having to refinance to pay
or pay for the wedding.
So, splitting that cost with a lender is usually a pretty good idea. I know there's a lot of different things that we can do. And we've got the balloon whole canopy thing where you can do a lot of cool, fun shots. But, think where you can, save on all of these different ideas, whether it be community events or even postcards, anything like that, and co-brand with your partners.
Right.
To keep the cost down. It's a win-win for everybody. Just always trying to save some money wherever you can.
Wherever you can. Yeah. And that's a great way of keeping in contact in person. Again, we said at the beginning, when my kids were little, I was always the team mom for whatever team they were in. So that gives you a way to reach out to people. I was very involved with the scouting. And so anytime I sent an email out to the entire pack or troop, it was my email with my email address, with my logo. So they all knew that I sold real estate. And so that hopefully they'll come back.
Well, it's the name badge, or I mean, I always had the swag shirt, so I never even had to. Well, and I didn't sell real estate, but I still get the referrals, and I'm happy to match make an agent and get a referral. Like, all win-win for everybody. But there's so many different ways. Wear your swag. Don't be a secret agent. Be involved in the community and the things that are important to you, your kids. I mean, just being present. That's free. It doesn't.
Yep.
I mean, that's just something you're doing anyway, but don't, whether you're wearing the name tag or you're wearing the swag so people know that you're in real estate. I mean, you're already doing it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I thought of another just example. My son did robotics. And so I became friends with one of the moms whose son also was in robotics. And then ultimately we ended up carpooling our kids to school because they went to out of area. And then her mom decided she wanted to sell her second home and downsize. So her mom calls me to list her house. Then the daughter, her across the street neighbor, called to list her house because Meg recommended me. And then her mom ended up buying the across the street neighbor's house. So that was 3 deals, all from robotics, during a pandemic, I might add, I mean, so, but keeping in contact, like Barbara said, your service provider, your friends, your hairdresser, your nail salon, your handyman, whatever it is. In my neighborhood, I don't get out and walk that much, but all the ladies are out there at 5 o'clock walking their dogs. And get a dog, walk your dog, because then you start chatting with people. I will say, like, when I go out the front door and if anybody's out there, and I live in a townhouse and both units are for sale on both sides of me. And so the minute they see me, they all come running. What's going on? Has it sold? Hasn't it sold? They want the information, So, so that's another great way of reaching out in person. And then the next thing is to offer value. So when you are reaching out, whether it's print advertising or through the internet or Facebook posts, know your market, know what's happening, be able to provide valid information to them about the sales that are going on in that market. But when they see you at the grocery store, they're going to want to ask how, what's happening. And I always, especially now with the amount of inventory it is, I always say, we have 1.2 months of inventory. A normal, healthy market is like 5 months of inventory. So as long as you know that your information, keep up with your stats. That's always been a big thing for me. Keep up with your stats. Know them, know what's going on so that you can offer value. Know this house sold for this much. This is what's going on in this neighborhood. So you should always be learning and always be studying so that you can offer the value to people out there in your marketplace, for sure.
Especially in a crazy market, to know what's going on. Just the month of inventory is, it's crazy. It's insane.
I know. Crazy. I know. It really, really is. So then you turn to new construction, and even with new construction.
Well, they're back to lottery again. How long? It's been a long time since I remember those lotteries.
2005, I think, or 4. I remember it in Wingate Estates, and people were camping out, or maybe it was, 4 or 5, and people were camping out. I remember the picture in the Vieira Voice of people with their lawn chairs waiting, and they're doing it again in West Vieira now. But your time to build, you're looking at a year. You're looking at a year right now to build.
It's surprising because materials are super hard to find.
That too.
It took forever for us to get our carport. It ended up being, like 4 months when it should have just been a couple weeks. I mean, even the sheds, like looking, there was nothing but repos and they were gone in 2 days. So
Wow.
trying to find the she shed when we realized obviously we're not going to be able to buy and sell like we were looking to do before COVID hit. It's like, well, I love where we live, so we just need that extra. I just need some more privacy now that everybody's home.
Right.
So the
Right.
shed
So
is
there you
perfect,
go.
but then there's no sheds. And they're like, COVID,
I had two
materials.
new constructions where they couldn't get the refrigerator, so they had to go take it out of a different house, out of a model, because they couldn't get the refrigerators because supplies are so low.
I mean, it's crazy. So the new construction, I mean, I had the Ford Bronco I had on reserve, and that's just
right.
Yep. Just I got a Jeep. I'm good. I'll probably drill when they finally come out, but I'll worry about that when that time ever
When
comes.
the time comes, right? Right. For
Tired
sure.
of waiting. So
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, we're just in crazy times, but I mean, that's also something that I love about real estate is it's always changing, evolving. Like it's never the same, but I think we just definitely have to focus on not the distractions, but
Right.
focus on our business, our, customer experience, just really providing the value, even when you are doing the snail mail or email campaigns or whatever it is. I try to come from a place of offering value and something that they're not going to be able to see with the headline news or, local events, stuff like that. I think if you come from a place of value, it's always a win-win for everybody. So who's that, Lydia?
That's Lydia. Yeah. So that would be the B&B team.
Yes, B&B Elite Group. So yeah, they did the bridal. They wait to the last minute for stuff. I remember that.
I was getting emails and texts from them. Do we have giveaways? Do we have wine? Yeah. So but yeah, so that's the perfect event. And yeah, and she even said my granddaughters were there helping working, and I am sure your granddaughters saw friends. So then the friends like, oh, there's Selena or whichever. There's I was about to say Erica. Erica's not a granddaughter; she's a daughter. But you know what I'm saying. The
kids are awesome.
Right.
They're so perfect for any event. I mean, Jessie's been helping us since we did Boo at the Zoo. She was like 2 or 3, and she wouldn't let anyone walk and grab candy without getting like the little postcard or getting a business card. And she'd even, how can you say no to a 3-year-old that looks so cute dressed up? And like,
right.
Oh, you forgot the business card. Okay, put it in my bag. Or
exactly.
You've already been by here. And it was funny, like we did the Valkyrie Air Show. I think that memory just popped up yesterday from 9 years ago.
Right.
I mean, we created so many relationships from there. That's always like a fun story, but just different. I think community events are always a great way getting face to face. And I know it's kind of awkward times now, but I think that they're slowly, safely trying to do more of that again. So I think it's time to get into that. And yes, absolutely. My daughter says no way, but perfect. They still have a lot of fun at the events. But
right.
So what is our weekly activity?
So this week, as in every week, but this week, show kindness and tolerance this week in everything that you do. And, we all try and always do that. But sometimes, I'll be the first to admit I'm on the road and someone's driving extra slow or, I've been starting to use the new parkway. What's that called that goes down to Palm Bay from Ellis? Heritage Parkway?
Parkway, yeah.
And if you get on it at the wrong time and you get behind someone doing 35 miles an hour, it makes me a little
enjoy
crazy.
the scenery, and if you go that way during the sunset, it's
that's it. And it's funny because I was on the phone with Barbara the other day and I told her that I got stuck behind somebody, but the sun was setting and it's so peaceful out there that you just take the time to release. So instead of screaming out the window at them, or beeping my horn, which I kind of wanted to do,
don't do that. It is just sit back, relax.
Remind yourself. Yeah, remind yourself.
It is really a pretty drive. And sometimes at the right time, I've noticed around dinner time, it's weird how cows know when it's dinner time. and you'll just see like this huge cloud of dust. And it's like, what is that? You know, like, is there a store? Like, you know, you think like a dust devil or something. And
Right.
it's all the cows running because they know it's feeding time and they go under that bridge there. It's
Oh,
actually quite a sight to see. And it's not the same time every day, which you would think, because my husband talks about that with horses. Like when we go for horseback rides, like you have to
right,
know when their feeding time is because
right,
they don't care that you're on a ride. Like it's feeding time and they're gone. Um,
right.
but it is, but yeah, no, it's a really nice drive and you're absolutely right. And it's only getting crazier, that road. So you just really have to kind of just calm down and enjoy the scenery that's going on at that time. And let's see, words of wisdom is caring is a powerful business advantage. And that to me was a little, you know, it's deep if you actually think about that, but genuinely be caring, be authentic. And that's where I think we come up with that value and stuff. I think people see right through the sales, but really be caring towards everything you do. I think that comes across better. I don't know. I
You
just
know,
really like that. It spoke to me.
no, I agree, and it has to be authentic, honestly. So if you don't care, people will know. You know, it has to be authentic. You know, don't it's not. I guess it's not a sales shtick. It's not a gimmick. And you know what? I find that the people in this industry that are the most successful are people who are doing it because they truly love what they do. They truly care about people. They truly want to help people achieve their personal goals. Um, and that shows through in the work that you do. I mean, although this is a business transaction, it is the most expensive thing that people will buy in their lifetime. For most people that you do a real estate transaction with, and the human touch, the human interaction, the human guidance through the process is really the
I
thing
think
that shines through. It's
when
the
people see that you're passionate about what you do and you truly care, I mean, everything about you just, it seems genuine. And I think sometimes it, you know, and the transactions may be hard to, you know, but I think if we truly find why we love doing what we do, I mean, it shines right through and it's better than any sales pitch. I think we just need to find that passion
Mhm.
and truly care about the experience. And sometimes when we get crazy, it's hard to find that or dig our way back into that passion on why we love. What is our why?
Yep.
Sometimes we just have to, you know, slowly get back to that, and it comes across. I mean, people see that, they see right through you. So I think finding your why, truly caring about somebody, it really comes, and it's all going to show through to that, you know, consumer experience of working with you.
Exactly.
And no computer could ever compete with that.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
So I think that's it. We have some other great shows coming on. And let's see, I've got some little banners here. We've got subscribe to our podcast, Monday Morning Wake Up Call. We're everywhere now. Pretty cool. We've got our blogs. We've got all past shows, mondaymorningwakeupcall.com. And until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat.
Have a great
Bye,
week.
guys. Happy Monday.